The morning sun rose over Red Mesa, spilling light across the dry plains and the weathered wooden fences of the Treadwell ranch. John Treadwell, an old rancher with hands as rough as the land he worked, leaned on the corral rail while his 16-year-old son Ethan fixed a broken post. The day started peaceful until the sound of galloping hooves rolled through the valley like thunder. Dust clouds rose on the horizon, and with them came trouble. Silas Granger and his men rode hard into the ranch yard, their guns gleaming under the sun. Granger, a land baron feared across the territory, smirked beneath his black hat. "Morning, old man," he said. "You've got something that belongs to me." John stood tall, his voice calm but firm. "Ain't got nothing of yours, Granger. Only my land. And I'll die before I hand it over." Granger's smirk hardened into cruelty. "That's exactly what I came for." He dismounted, gave a small nod, and his men were on John in seconds. Ethan ran to help, but one of the men struck him across the face, sending him into the dirt. They beat John savagely, fists, boots, rifle butts, until the old man fell to his knees. The boy's screams echoed across the barren field, but no one came. "Take the land," Granger said, spitting on the ground, "and burn what's left." Flames rose from the barn as Granger mounted his horse again. "If that boy's smart, he'll stay gone." When the dust cleared, the ranch lay in ruins. Ethan crawled to his father's side, clutching his trembling hand. "Pa, get up," he whispered through tears. John opened his eyes weakly. "Go, son, run. Don't let them see you die here." "I can't leave you," Ethan sobbed. "You have to. Find good men. Come back stronger. Promise me." The old man's voice faded with the wind and his hand went limp. Ethan stayed there for a long time, his tears mixing with the dirt, until the sun began to sink. Then he buried his father beneath the oak tree, the same place his mother rested. He made a wooden cross from broken fence boards and whispered a vow. "I'll make them pay, Pa, I swear it." With his father's rifle on his back, the boy set off south, into the desert, into the unknown. Days turned to weeks. The heat burned him by day, the cold cut him by night, but the fire in his heart never dimmed. He followed the old trails his father once spoke of, the ones that led deep into Apache country, the land where John Treadwell had once earned the respect of warriors. When Ethan finally stumbled into their camp, he was half-starved, but his eyes still blazed with purpose. The Apache warriors surrounded him instantly, their bows drawn. "I come in peace," he said in a shaking voice. "My name's Ethan Treadwell. Your chief once rode with my father." An older man stepped forward, tall, proud, eyes sharp as flint. "John Treadwell," he said slowly. "He saved my brother once." "Why have you come, son of Treadwell?" Ethan's voice cracked, but his words carried truth. "Because they killed him. They took our land. I can't fight them alone." The chief, Dasan, studied him for a long moment, then placed a hand on his shoulder. "You are not alone now." For months, Ethan lived among them. He learned to ride like the wind, to track without sound, to fight with purpose. He hunted, trained, and earned the warriors' respect. The boy who had left the valley broken came back forged in fire, a man of two worlds. When the time came, the Apache prepared for war. Dawn broke over the desert as smoke from 100 campfires rose into the sky. 400 warriors painted their faces for battle, the drums echoing through the canyons. Chief Dasan stood tall and said, "We ride not for conquest but for balance." The boy's father was a man of honor, and today we restore that honor. Ethan mounted his horse beside him, his father's rifle across his back. The wind swept through his hair as he looked toward the north. "I'm coming for you, Granger," he whispered. 2 days later, they reached the ridge overlooking the valley. Below lay the Treadwell Ranch, rebuilt, claimed by the men who had murdered his father. Laughter drifted from the porch where Granger's men sat drunk and careless. Chief Dasan turned to Ethan. "How many?" 30, Ethan said. Drunk, proud, and unready. Dasan nodded once. "Then we strike like thunder." Ethan lowered his arm in the signal. The first Apache war cry tore through the air like the voice of the earth itself. Then 400 horses surged forward. The ground shook. Dust and vengeance filled the sky. Granger's men scrambled for their rifles, but it was too late. Arrows flew, rifles cracked, and chaos roared. Ethan rode at the front, his eyes fixed on the house where his father had fallen. Bullets whistled past him, but he didn't flinch. Granger burst from the door, shotgun raised. "You!" he shouted. You think you can take what's mine? Ethan leveled his rifle. I'm here to take back what's ours. Granger fired. The blast grazed Ethan's shoulder, but before the echo died, Ethan fired back. One clean shot. The bullet struck Granger in the chest, and the man staggered backward, collapsing in the very dirt where John Treadwell had bled. The fighting ended soon after. The Apache moved like shadows, precise, unrelenting. When the smoke cleared, silence fell over the valley. Chief Dasan dismounted beside Ethan. It is done, he said. Your father's spirit rests. Ethan looked at the fallen men, then at the land stretching before him. No, he said quietly. It's not done until this land lives again. He turned to the ranch hands who had survived. This land doesn't belong to any one man. It belongs to those who work it, respect it, and protect it. My father died for that truth. If you've got the courage and stay, help rebuild. And they did. Together with the Apache, they rebuilt the fences, restored the barns, and sowed the fields once more. The oak tree that shaded John's grave became the heart of the ranch, and on it, Ethan carved a sign that read, Treadwell's Promise. Before the Apache departed, Chief Dasan clasped Ethan's arm. You came to us as a boy of sorrow, he said. You leave as a man of honor. Never forget either. Ethan nodded, his eyes glistening. I'll never forget. As the last of the warriors vanished into the horizon, the valley grew still. The wind rustled through the grass, whispering through the oak leaves, a sound like a father's voice carried by time itself. Ethan looked to the sky, the sunset glowing gold and red, and whispered, We did it, Pa. He stood there a long while watching the light fade, knowing that the land would remember the price of freedom, and so would he. If this story moved your heart, if it made you feel the power of courage, justice, and a son's promise, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Each week we bring you real stories, powerful emotions, and unforgettable legends from the untamed heart of the Wild West. Hit that subscribe button, join our growing family of storytellers, and keep the fire of honor alive, because some stories are too powerful to be forgotten.